Hello from Jihad and the World, a podcast that explores the connection between Western and Islamic cultures. The author is Mark Silinsky of Kensington Security Consulting, where we bring education to national security. Today, we begin the sixth in a series of podcasts focused on the terrorist killing in San Bernardino, in which a husband and wife pair of Islamists murdered health inspectors in 2015. The podcast series is called The Killing Floor. In this episode, husband and wife train to kill, and the party begins. Practicing and preparing. Both husband and wife carried 9mm pistols during the attack. Malik used the Llama Model X-B, which gun enthusiasts describe as solid and well-priced. Farook's sidearm was a Springfield Armory XDM 9mm with a stainless slide. As the holiday party approached, the couple practiced firing their weapons at local ranges. Instructors at Riverside Magnum Gun Range remember the two and were not impressed with their marksmanship. After the attack, one instructor was devastated to learn he had given shooting advice to the pair. A spokesman for Magnum Range remembers that nothing about Farook stood out. He seemed so calm. On a video surveillance film, he was smiling, joking, and firing at silhouette targets. The spokesman asked and answered, "Could we have done anything different? I don't think so." The couple dry-fired their weapons in their backyard to prepare for the party and assembled pipe bombs, which are improvised explosive devices often used by terrorists. Like grenades, pipe bombs release shrapnel in all directions when they detonate. The Irish Republican Army used them, as did Eric Rudolph in the 1996 Summer Olympics bombing in Atlanta, Georgia, which killed 2 people. Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold of Columbine High School fame had also experimented with pipe bombs. Farook and Malik did not use the bombs they made. However, after the attack, police found 19 pipes in the couple's home in Redlands. They also bought GoPro cameras to attach to their body armor before starting their Jihad massacre. Likely, they, like other Jihad attackers before them, wanted to inspire the faithful with scenes of bloodshed. Their martyrdom would be remembered forever, and they believed they would enter heaven. They then went to the garage, which contained what the FBI described as a bomb factory and arsenal. More than 4,000 rounds of ammunition, a dozen pipe bombs, and dozens of weapons and explosive components were later found there. A to-do list. They prepared thoroughly for the attack. Farook took out a bank loan of $28,500 in November 2015. He gave half of the money to his mother and spent the rest on household goods. He probably had no intention of repaying it because he and his wife planned to die on the day of the attack. Farook and Malik planned the incident in detail. Mapping out the attack route, Farook drew the venue's conference room, tables, chairs, and podium, as well as the entrances and exits. His notes included terms like cover fire and suppressive fire. On November 25th, he scribbled to himself, "Transfer $5,000, referring to moving money to his mother's account. Later that day, he wrote, 2 cars, 3, unintelligible, and 10 elbow, 20 caps, which were pipe elbows and end caps. On November 27th and 28th, he was to practice shooting and buy the rest of the materials. The next day, he reminded himself to destroy all electronics, meaning computers and cell phones. On December 1st, he wrote, delete email accounts. On December 2nd, the husband and wife were ready. They left their child with Farook's mother, Rafia, and drove to the party armed and prepared to kill. Where is Syed? Perched near the Sizzler and IHOP restaurants, the venue was the Inland Regional Center. It is a large complex of buildings on Waterman Avenue in an area experiencing some industrial gentrification. New office buildings have sprung up in the weed-filled, empty lots and among derelict homes. Its name is Serving Individuals with Developmental Disabilities in San Bernardino and Riverside counties. Its stated goal is to help Inland Empire residents with developmental disabilities, such as intellectual disabilities, autism, cerebral palsy, and epilepsy. The county rents out the center's facilities for professional and social events, some of which are listed and publicly available on its calendar. In the 1960s, parents of children with disabilities in San Bernardino worked together with county leaders to create a facility for local residents with disabilities. Today, the center employs hundreds of staff members, including counselors, therapists, case managers, social workers, and others. Currently, nearly 670 Inland Regional Center employees serve over 30,200 people with developmental disabilities and their families across San Bernardino and Riverside counties. The center also rents out its number 3 building conference room for holiday parties. The latest data shows it has nearly 670 staff and over 30,000 clients. The center moved to its current location in 1996. It stays active with events like a holiday boutique scheduled for Thursday and a winter dance for those over 16. During the holiday season, the center bursts with festive fun. Photographs posted on the center's website show employees of all races dressed in Christmas attire, smiling in group photos, and cuddling with Santa Claus. On this day, Wednesday, December 2nd, 2015, the county's Division of Environmental Health Services was holding a training session followed by a holiday party. Attendees placed their potluck dishes on red tablecloths. A large green Christmas tree decorated with ornaments stood in a corner, and holiday decorations hung from the walls and ceiling. At 8 o'clock, attendees started settling into their seats while sipping coffee and eating pastries and bagels. They were scheduled to leave at 4:30. Chris Nwaddick brought donuts. His colleagues sat around him at a folding table with a brightly colored tablecloth and a decorative fir branch. They played board games for gift cards. The roughly 75 workers in the room held wireless clickers to answer yes or no questions displayed on a large screen. Elsewhere in the center, Daniel Kaufman, the popular manager of the center's coffee bar, texted his partner and prepared to open his business. Health Inspector Jennifer Stevens looked forward to mingling with her new colleagues and making a good impression. The recent hire shared the party's warmth with her new colleagues. Longtime Inspector Damian Mines enjoyed these holiday parties too. Years earlier, he taught school and liked dressing as Abraham Lincoln at Halloween and Santa Claus at Christmas. A practicing Catholic, Mines loved the Christmas season. But not all inspectors wanted to attend the party. Some assumed it would be a repeat of the often tedious training sessions, forced conversations, and tiresome luncheons. Others were cynical about a working party and did not want to listen to lectures. Inspector Michelle Saltis considered calling in sick that day. You know when you wake up in the morning or you know something's wrong or off? That's kinda how I felt that day. Burly, middle-aged Shannon Johnson chuckled to 20-something Denise Peraza that the large clock on the wall might be broken because time seemed to be moving so slowly. Around 8:48, Farook arrived and sat a few feet from Saltis, who remembered. The whole time, he was kinda quiet. He was looking at his cell phone. And then, the next thing I knew, I saw him stand up and walk away. Inspector Patrick Bakari, who considered Farook a friend, approached him and joked, "Ready to be bored?" This was a common joke about the training part of the day. "I'm ready," Farook replied. The usually reserved Farook was silent that day, speaking only when colleagues greeted him. Farook placed a bag on a chair and suddenly left at 10:37. Later that afternoon, police found a bomb in the bag. Regina Kurupu sat at her desk on the second floor of Building 3 at the Inland Regional Center. As a 19-year veteran of the organization that helps those with developmental disabilities like autism and cerebral palsy, Kurupu was finishing her pre-vacation emails and sending thank-you notes to the center's supporters. Veteran employee Chris Nwadiki sat next to Farook, whom he knew well as a co-worker. He did not notice anything wrong with his behavior and respected Farook as a dependable worker. He's serious with his job. He doesn't play around. Colleagues saw Farook glance at his phone before he left, but no one was worried. Then, Farook bolted, leaving his bag on the table. They thought he would return soon to get it. It never occurred to anyone that there might be something dangerous inside. Benetta Betbadal was excited about presenting a case study before lunch. She texted her husband about the day's chores, including withdrawing money from the bank and Christmas shopping. A practicing Roman Catholic, she loved the Christmas season. In Iran of her youth, she and other Christians reveled quietly and cautiously in the shadows of fear. But in America, she prayed openly. Statistician Harry Bowman was preparing for his scheduled lecture at the center. This was to be his first presentation, and he wanted to make it strong and flawless. The office leaders began the meeting by reviewing the year's accomplishments and announcing plans for 2016. It was a proud moment for Health Inspector Julie Swan Paez. With a big smile, she was just presented with the Employee of the Year award. Her supervisor, Michael Wetzel, recommended her for this honor. Wetzel was the supervising environmental specialist at the Department of Health and a father of 6. By mid-morning, about 80 attendees had gathered in one of the center's large rooms. They watched a training video and then moved on to a team-building exercise. More technical training in smaller groups was scheduled throughout the morning. Afterward, they would enjoy lunch. Just before 11 o'clock, the group took an unscheduled break due to a technical issue. Some headed to the restrooms, others moved toward the food, while some remained seated, checking their phones or chatting with colleagues. Elsewhere in the regional center, free spirit and job coach Larry Daniel Kaufman left his coffee cart and stepped outside. Known for his compassion and patience, he was popular in the center and loved by the children he helped. His empathy was likely rooted in his own challenging childhood. The division chief had just finished a talk about statistics. The county supervisor announced more hiring for the next year and then gave everyone a 5-minute bathroom break. Now it was time to have some fun. Thank you for listening to this episode of Jihad and the World. If you liked it, please consider subscribing. Also, if you have first-hand information on this attack, please contact us. Our latest book, Cauldron of Terror, Hamas, Israel, and the World, will be available for purchase in July 2026. This podcast does not reflect the official position of the United States government. Until next time, goodbye from Kensington Security Consulting.